Well, Happy New Year, everybody. I want to thank Tri-Village, thank you, Katie, and also Summit, thank you for letting me be here, and also thank you guys for getting up early on a rainy day and coming on in. I believe what I'm going to talk about today probably set off some light bulbs in your head and give you some ways of thinking about your life and thinking about success that you haven't heard before. This is not regurgitated Tony Robbins or anything like that. It is something that I never came across. I helped develop it with my educational background. So a little bit about me. My background is communication psychology. I pretty much utilize that in the fields of sales, marketing, and advertising for my adult career life. In 2014, I took a year and became a hypnotherapist. In 2020, the great year, with the help of this man, Jack Canfield. I'm not sure if you know who Jack Canfield is. He wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. He's a motivational speaker, law of attraction, all this stuff. Sold like 1 billion books. I worked with him, wrote my book, and he pretty much convinced me to get into coaching. So, and then last year I became a certified Kolbe consultant. Now, I gotta tell you, I've been, again, background in psychology and everything for my whole life. I had never even heard of Kolbe. Kolbe, you know how you have like Myers-Briggs and personality tests? Kolbe is a testing for conation. Conation is actually how we do things. So as you may rank as far as like for IQ tests and personality tests, there's also a specific way in which you carry out actions and activities in your own particular way. And if you go against that, usually you have stress, frustration, and strain, and so forth. So, belief strategist, I came up with that term because hypnotherapy is kind of the woo-woo, you know, what does that mean? I had to kind of get around that, and that's really what I do. I leverage the subconscious mind, I help people program habits, and then I optimize belief systems. Mainly what we do there is we get rid of the limiting beliefs. So here's a question. What's the number one success goal or dream that you have that you're currently not pursuing? And I want you to think about, if you'd won the lottery, what would you be doing? Maybe your lottery is your goal. I don't know. But like, what would you do if you could do anything? How would your life be completely different than it is today if you could have anything you wanted? And are you not pursuing that? So that's where we're going to start. And I want you to have that in mind as we go through the rest of this presentation. I think it'll be a little bit more effective for you. So, with regards to that goal, would you like to know the guaranteed easiest and fastest way that you could actually achieve that? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Fastest, easiest way to do it. So, let's break it down in a very simple thing, is this is how, if we were to define or describe to an alien how you achieve success. Success can be broken down into smaller goals, steps, correct? And if you execute each one of those steps, move on to the next step, eventually you will land at success. Simple enough, right? Like easy to explain how you achieve success. And this roadmap can be used for health and fitness, wealth, career, relationships, or bucket list goals, which I call like hiking the Appalachian Trail, learning to play guitar, learn a language, write a book, whatever the bucket list might be. So today what I've done to help you with the limited amount of time that we have is I've cherry-picked 4 critical insights for you, and if you can understand these, this will change the way you think about your life, your goals, your success, and everybody else's. And people you see struggling, you'll kind of understand what's going on. So, just by a show of hands, how many actually have New Year's resolutions this year? Okay, kind of. Okay, so the majority of people don't, right? So Forbes, 37% of Americans said they have a goal, which means 63% of Americans do not set a goal or resolution. Now, does that mean because everybody is satisfied, we're all at our successful apex? And no. So there's some reason people are not setting these resolutions and goals. 9% of the people who set the goals actually achieve them. 91% fail. 23% of people quit by the first week, and 43% of people expect to give up. They expect to give up on their goals by February. What kind of mindset is that? Like, oh, I'm going to do it, but I'm expecting I'll probably quit. So what is going on? Why is it we cannot just simply execute each step that we need to in our goal to reach the success level we want? Well, part of the problem is we were never given an owner's manual, right? What the most we were given was our education, where we learned about the Euphrates River and all these other things we learned about, but we never learned about our mind. Or we've also been given examples of other people who have done it. So we find mentors like, how did you do it? How did you do it? So basically what we do is we go through life with a trial and error system. If something works and we achieve success, we pretty much keep that. And if something fails, we throw it away. Now, if you've set resolutions in the past and you didn't hit them, that's kind of considered failure. So what do? You tend to throw it away, which explains why so many few people now actually fashion these New Year's resolutions. Now, if there was an owner's manual and I got to write it, page 1 of the owner's manual would contain this. I want you to think of your brain as a computer. And what I mean by computer, I mean the actual physical hardware. Your brain is a physical cells, biological structure, right? So think of your brain as the computer and then your mind as the software that runs on that computer. So there's a difference between your brain and your mind. Now, the very first critical insight I would want you to know is that your mind is exactly just like programmable software. Your whole life you've been programmed. You've been programmed learning, you've been programmed with cultural values, family values. All of that is programming, and I want you to think about that as actually like literal code. Words, pictures, images, everything that's inside your mind. And that is how you've become to be you, and you're uniquely different than everybody else. However, software can get corrupted, correct? So software gets glitches and viruses, and the mind also has what we call limiting beliefs, or also defense mechanisms that also conflict so that the execution of the program isn't carried out the way that it's supposed to be. Is this analogy making sense to everybody right now? Okay. So, both need updates to fix the problems. So the good news is this. Your failed goals, they've never truly been your fault. Okay? You're not lazy, you're not a loser, you're not defective, you don't have God putting a cloud over you, there's no bad luck that's running through your genes. Basically what has happened is your software is either corrupted or it's out of date. It's not programmed for the life you want, or something is blocking it from being programmed. Basically, you simply have outdated mental software. Now, we update our phones, we update our Rokus, our game consoles, all of these other things. How often do we update our mind? And even if somebody suggests that, it sounds strange, right? Like, what do you mean update your mind? Like, even that kind of sounds frou-frou fringe, like brainwashing, mind control, what is this? No, it's the code, the apps on your phone. If you want an app that tells you about, okay, how fast can I run? You're not going to use the clock on your phone. You're going to go to the one that has the timer, right? A completely different app. If you're using an app that doesn't do what you want it to do, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. So, let's go on to the second critical insight. So if your mind is like programmable software, here comes the interesting twist. You actually have two minds. Two software programs running on your brain. We have your subconscious and we have your active mind. Now, the active mind could also be called your conscious mind, okay? But I'm sure you've heard of subconscious, your subconscious mind, and your active mind. And I'm going to first explain what your active mind is, because your active mind is the one that's actively dealing with your awareness and perception. Right now, your active mind is listening to my words and processing it. Your active mind is looking at me. Your active mind is noticing the room. It's at the forefront of what's going on inside of your head. Deals with present moments, immediate thoughts, feelings. It processes when you're doing a math problem, you're needing to do this. When you're doing any thoughtful decision, you're going to be using your active mind. It's going to be at the forefront of what you're thinking and doing. Now, your subconscious mind, I'm going to be honest, this is the part that, after going through hypnotherapy school and all this, kind of drives me crazy, because our culture and Hollywood and everything, they love to create this story that the subconscious mind is this mysterious thing, right? Like, if you can go into the depths of your subconscious mind, there's things you don't know. That's where the darkness lurks, and that's where, if you could tap into that, you could probably read minds, you could levitate, you could do all this nonsense stuff, right? And hypnosis can get you and control you. It's nonsense. Your subconscious mind, let's just go with the words. Basically, sub, meaning below or underneath. Conscious is your awareness and perception. Subconscious is basically anything that's below your awareness and perception that you're not aware of is happening. So we often use the iceberg as this analogy. So you have your active mind, your awareness perception above the water, and below it is what we would call subconscious. That's all it is. It's not this mysterious, strange thing that we can't get a grasp on, that we can't program, that we can't deal with. It's simply everything that's below the surface. Now, I'm going to show you an example of this. So we're going to Google your subconscious mind right now, okay? So I want you to just think of this. Can you remember the name or the face of your 4th grade teacher? Do you remember the first car you drove? What's your favorite ABBA song? Right? Okay. How about this? I want you to think right now, what's going on with, let's just choose either your left or your right foot. I want you to focus now on your left or right foot. Feel that, is there pressure on it? Is there anything, is there heat? Is it hot? Is it cold? What's going on with your left foot right now or your right foot? Okay, what did we do? We came to the active mind. Okay, so the software on this one is kind of like Google's database. Your subconscious mind houses pretty much everything else besides what's in this active awareness. It's got your instincts, your belief system, which is the VIP of your subconscious team, emotions, memories, imaginations, habits. So what we just proved is that we can go from the subconscious mind and we can bring it up to the active mind. So anything that's subconscious, we can bring up, which is very good because that way we can deal with it. But it also goes the other way. So for instance, right now, I may be able to impart on something which will go into your subconscious mind as a memory or something else, right? So it goes both ways. These are supposed to work as a team. So let's get to number 3. Your mind's a program. You actually have 2 minds. Number 3, your subconscious program always wins. If you want to know who's the boss of your life, it's your subconscious. Hands down, no ifs or buts about it. We've all heard how important our subconscious mind is. I'm going to explain to you why that is. So, what do you think, as far as controlling your life, I've already told you that this controls your life, but what do you think that percentage difference is? How much control does the subconscious have versus the active mind? Anybody want to hazard a guess? Yeah. 75%. 75 to 25? 90-10? Good guesses. 80-20. Okay, so we're up there high. Fact is nobody knows for sure. There's no way to do a quantitative test to know exactly how much you're using, but the best guesses are 95 to 5. And I always cite this because if you assume this is happening, then you can plan for worst case scenarios. If you think, it's just like 55, or and you give too much credence to the active mind, then you're not going to plan appropriately enough to combat or work on the subconscious mind.
The active mind is more reactive, like it's just like reacting in the moment, in a sense?
In some sense, in the sense of, it does react, but in a sense of just perceptions, it's filtering and focusing, right, on what it wants to perceive. Like the example of your foot, like you were thinking about something else until we chose to focus it somewhere else. It's kind of like a flashlight that just, a dark room, whatever it focuses on is what's in the mind. So it can be reactive. If you're in a dark room and you hear a noise, it can react. But it's not necessarily just reactive. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay. So 95 versus 5. 19 times more powerful is why your subconscious mind always wins. So, again, the functions, and I would say these are kind of the tools or the weapons in the war it uses to get what it wants, get what it needs. The emotions, habits, and all of this. Against the active mind, which pretty much has one tool, one weapon. Willpower. How many people love willpower? Like if I just say, hey, you know what? All we need to do to get this is just have to leverage your willpower. I don't like willpower. Willpower has failed me a lot of times. You ever be on a diet and then like your willpower going against that cookie or that other thing, or willpower getting up and going to the gym when it's raining and cold? Basically, willpower is associated with effort, struggle, and focus. Would we agree with that? That like when you think of that, now you can be a champion, right? Now, if there's ever cases where willpower defeats this, because I said that the subconscious mind always wins, if willpower ever defeats this, and we can see, I don't know if anybody's familiar with David Goggins or anything like this, Those people are heroes, okay? We revere them. Like, they are not normal human beings, and that's why they get that legendary status of being able, and we just, what have you done? How do you do it? They can't really explain it because they just push themselves. Here is a quote: "To the man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail." This is Charlie Munger. Our hammer, our tool, if you only have one tool, that's what you use. Our hammer is willpower, right? Whenever we want to do something, what do we typically think? We think either willpower or perhaps somebody else can help me do it, right? We leverage somebody else, but if we have to do it ourselves, we typically think, oh, I'm going to have to focus, I'm going to have to use some effort, I'm going to probably have to struggle a little bit, I'm going to have to push through. And so when we only have willpower, everything we do becomes a struggle, effort, and requires more energy than we typically like to expend. So here we see the different sizes. We see, again, the different tools they use, and this is why your subconscious programming always wins. Now here's the bad news. In your active mind, guess what rides in your active mind? That's where your goals and dreams are. Goals and dreams, when you're doing something, your goals and dreams are never sitting at your head, right? Only when I say goals and dreams and it comes to that surface do you know about your goals and dreams. Now, you may have yearnings and so forth that are in your subconscious mind based on memories and experiences and so forth, or imagination on what I think it would be like if I lived that lifestyle. But really, your goals and dreams live in your active mind. More bad news? Part of the function of the subconscious mind is to create homeostasis. Now, homeostasis is just creating and regulating the maintenance of a stable organism. Even more bad news, its job is basically to keep you the same. Subconscious mind doesn't care about your goals and dreams. It's like a database, like Google. It isn't actively seeking anything other than homeostasis. It's your active mind that desires and wants this future dream or goal that you have. So it plays out like this. Your 5%, let's look at them as people. We want the change. It goes up against this. We don't. Now, if this is a tug of war and you have a rope in between, what do you think is going to happen when it's weighed this way? You're going to lose, right? So now, are you starting to understand why just executing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, which seem simple, the only difference between now and then is executing these steps. You want to change, you want to get there. Your subconscious mind, if you're failing to do so, is programmed to not get you there. They want change, they want homeostasis. Look at the power balance and difference. Good news is the game is rigged against you, but once you understand that the game is rigged against you, you can then adapt and make it balance it out. And we'll explain a little bit how we do that. So again, here you are, you got your success, your active mind sees that, it's focused, that's what I want. I'm going to put my 5% towards that. However, we know it's not your active mind that controls your life, it's your subconscious. Look at the size difference, that's actually a 95 to 5% ratio on the size of the arrows there. So, if your subconscious mind points here, we'd consider that, in a negative sense, we'd consider that stuck, right? Your subconscious mind is programmed exactly to deliver what you currently have. Some people, I'm tired of this. Well, but that's how you're programmed, okay? Now, if it's pointing here, you're going to marginally advance. It's going to advance you. If it's pointing here, you're regressing. Can anybody think of an example where you actually end up ahead of your subconscious programming, where your subconscious programming would be pulling you back? Go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry. No.
I'll give two very
Probably right, mine wrong.
popular cultural ones. No, you want to hazard a guess?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple things. One would be imposter syndrome, right? Where you achieve a certain level, but your subconscious mind says, oh, no, you're not that good. You shouldn't be here. You don't know what you're doing. So it'll do that. In a cultural sense, how about people who lose a lot of weight? Like Oprah, right? That was their goal. They actually carried it out. They succeeded. They hit their target. And then what happens? they put it back on. Why? Because they're programmed inside their head that that is not you, that's not your self-identity. People who win the lottery, get millions and millions of dollars, what happens? They lose it all in a few years because they're not programmed. Their subconscious mind and their self-identity and beliefs and all this other stuff is not programmed for that advancement. However, if we can actually align these two arrows, so you might be rowing your 5%. We get this, you're in a boat now. It doesn't matter if you're going upstream or downstream. We just changed the vehicle that's actually taking you there, and it's pretty hard to stop you when both of these are aligned on a goal or a particular dream. So the key to success, I don't care what type of success you're going for, is to align, harmonize these two minds, these two software programs. We need to get them to cooperate with one another. So you got the willpower and everything else, it's going to happen. So the guaranteed fastest, easiest, and longest strategy to achieve success is to get those two arrows aligned. Does everything make sense? Bet you're hoping, like, how do you do that, right? How do you align those arrows? So instead of doing this, which is the struggle effort, you're fighting against something that you're not going to win against. Critical insight number 4, use that 5% to reprogram the 95%. Use your energy and focus. Instead of fighting and struggling against getting up in the morning and doing, use that time, focus, energy, and concentration to reprogram. Do this. It's almost like politics, right? You got 5 against 95. What do you need to do? You need to influence. You need to reframe. You need to get the subconscious mind understanding, believing, and aligned with what you want to do. And once you do that, you can see that it switches. It flips. Now you've got more of your 2 software programs rowing in that direction. And you can easily learn how to do this. Once you learn how to do this, you can do this with whatever goal you want to do. It's not like a one and done, because you're going to have other things that come up, or other challenges, other desires come up throughout your life. But once you understand how your mind's working and how you can reprogram your mind, you can do it for the rest of your life. All right. Reprogramming your mind? I don't know anything about software. I don't know anything about mind. I'm not into psychology. What does this actually mean? Well, if you're going to reprogram something, there's a computer language, right? So different types of, there's HTML for a website. There's, I don't even know the other names of the softwares because I'm not a software programmer myself. But if you want to know the software program that's running in your subconscious mind are those emotions and habits, your imagination. That's why a lot of these self-help things attempt to leverage these, like visualization, right? They're trying to leverage oh, I'm sorry. I have instincts up here twice. This is supposed to be imagination. I apologize. They're trying to leverage the imagination. They attempt to do mantras over and over and over again, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to affect your beliefs there. The problem is they're trying to put in a belief when you already have a big belief that's saying no. Okay, you have to reframe that big belief. You have to change that one over to something that's positive and proactive for your goals. So you would actually use all of these that you already have inside your mind, including current beliefs you have, to reprogram your software. So in the beginning, I'd asked you that one goal in your life, that if you could have it and it would change everything. I hope that it's still in your mind, because if I could help you align these so that you could get that goal, would that be something you'd be interested in? Well, I've only been given, I wouldn't be able to do this in the amount of time I was given today anyway. But interestingly enough, I talked with Katie, and Katie said that we could perhaps offer a workshop series for everybody. So this would be like 4 workshops that would teach you how to do this so that you could do this for the rest of your life. Now, we don't have all the specifics on this yet because we don't even know if there's interest. But if you're interested, we would like to find out, and that way we can put together this package. There would be a cost to it, but it would be 4 different days, probably a day each month for 4 months, where we could get together and I could actually teach you how to do this. So we'd take your major life goal, and maybe you haven't even thought about that. You'd have time to think, what do I want to do? And we would actually, in the workshop, start working with that. and to get you to optimize, harmonize, and align those two arrows to set you up to achieve that goal. Workshop 1, we would focus on programming unstoppable habits. Basically, there's a simple trick on how habits are created. There's a structure to a habit that once you learn this, you can basically hack it so that you can get a habit going and continuing to go long after your motivation and the thrill of the beginning of that goal is over. Because that's typically what happens. Your current habits take over, and that habit of going to the gym or dieting or whatever it might be, saving money, whatever it might be, that falls off because the current habit is more powerful than the new habit. Workshop 2, dissolving limiting beliefs. We're going to go into a proven five-step system that I developed to actually reframe limiting beliefs. The problem with that is that we have to find which belief is the most powerful one that's holding you back, but we also explain how to do that. 3, we're going to focus on your self-identity. Now, your beliefs, you have a belief, and then sometimes these beliefs form a cluster, right? Like, so if I talk about ice cream, you have a belief cluster about ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream? Do you like it in a cone or in a bowl? Is it in a waffle cone if you like it in a cone? Do you like it in the summer? Do you like it in the winter? Is there a certain time of day you like it? Within that cluster of ice cream, you have other beliefs that kind of pair up to it. And with your self-identity, you have those as well, right? You have my job, am I a father? Am I a male? Do I like sports? You have all of these different beliefs that are clustered onto your self-identity, and this controls or promotes your highest self. And then workshop 4, blueprints for building more effective relationships. You're going to understand what's motivating you, what's motivating other people, and how you can connect with them on their motivations and their goals to either facilitate a closer relationship, a better understanding with them, but also to support them and help them move along. People like other people who help them, so this is a good way for you to do that. So if you're interested in that, at the end here, just let us know, and we can get a tally and see how many people would be interested in doing that. Now, question time. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that.